Chapter 1. The document nobody reads there is a 67-page actuarial study the Social Security Administration publishes every year. It contains the exact life expectancy data they use internally to model benefit payouts. Almost nobody outside of academic pension research has read it. And the single most important number in that document is not your full retirement age. It is not your benefit amount. It is this: if you have already reached age 62 without a serious health event, your statistically expected lifespan is not 79, it is 84. That 5-year gap is the reason most break-even analyses people run on Social Security are structurally incorrect before they even start. Today's video is not about whether to file early or late. It is about the 7 variables the standard advice ignores. Each one documented, each one measurable, and each one capable of flipping the optimal strategy entirely on its own. Chapter 2. The break-even model is broken. The standard framework goes like this: file at 62, collect less for longer. Wait until 70, collect more for fewer years. Find the crossover. Done. The problem is that the crossover analysis was never designed to be the complete answer. It was designed to be a starting point. The Social Security Administration built a calculator to help people apply it. Then they removed the calculator because people were treating a starting point as a final answer. That is the first thing to know. The model is incomplete by design, not because anyone is hiding anything, but because the real decision has 7 inputs and the break-even calculator only handles 2. Here is what the full model actually requires. Chapter 3, Variable 1. Your real life expectancy, not the population average. Yours. The actuarial tables that matter are not the ones calculated at birth. They are the ones calculated conditionally, given that you have already survived to 62. The Social Security Administration's own data puts that conditional expectancy at approximately 84. Change that assumption by 3 years in either direction, and the optimal filing age shifts entirely. A 2024 Morningstar analysis confirmed that for someone with a life expectancy below 81, filing at 62 versus 67 produces nearly identical lifetime totals. The optimal strategy in a reduced life expectancy scenario is often filing at 65, not 62, not 70, right in the middle. The break-even point is not one number. It is a range, and your health history determines where inside that range you actually live. Chapter 4, Variable 2. COLA compounding. Most break-even analyses set the cost of living adjustment to 0. That is not a conservative assumption. It is a mathematically incorrect one. Social Security benefits are adjusted for inflation every year. And because the COLA is applied as a percentage of your base benefit, a larger base benefit generates a larger annual increase. A 3% COLA on a $3,966 monthly benefit is $119 per month. A 3% COLA on a $2,238 monthly benefit is $67. That $52 monthly gap compounds across decades. Add realistic COLA assumptions back into the model, and the lifetime difference between filing at 62 versus waiting until 70 expands from roughly $70,000 to over $246,000. That is not a rounding error. That is a variable that changes the decision entirely for most people in good health with a normal life expectancy. Chapter 5, Variable 3. Spousal coordination. If you have a spouse with a significantly lower earnings record, they may qualify for spousal benefits equal to up to 50% of your full retirement age benefit. But they cannot access those benefits until you file. This is the coordination play that most retirement analyses run in isolation miss entirely. A household where one spouse has minimal work history and files independently is leaving real documented income uncollected. Filing at 62 unlocks that spousal income stream years earlier, depending on the earnings gap between partners. That stream can represent tens of thousands of dollars. The standard individual break-even model never accounts for because it only models one person at a time. Chapter 6, Variable 4. The survivor benefit strategy. This is the most counterintuitive variable in the entire framework. If your spouse is the higher earner and has a serious health condition, the optimal household strategy may be to file your own lower benefit early, collect it while your spouse is alive, and then switch to the larger survivor benefit when they pass. The result is that you collect something rather than nothing during the interim period. Consider a scenario: a woman whose benefit at 62 is $2,100 per month. Her husband's full retirement age benefit is $3,600. He passes at 69. If she had waited to file, she would have collected zero of her own benefit for 7 years before switching to his survivor check anyway. By filing at 62, she collected approximately $176,000 during those 7 years. That $176,000 does not appear anywhere in a standard break-even model. It requires modeling 2 lives simultaneously, not one. Chapter 7, Variable 5. Portfolio sequence risk. If you are drawing down an investment portfolio in early retirement and the market drops 40%, selling assets at depressed prices to cover living expenses permanently destroys your ability to recover. Filing for Social Security early during a market downturn creates a guaranteed income floor. It stops the forced liquidation. It gives the portfolio time to recover. This is documented in the academic literature on sequence of returns risk, and it is one of the few scenarios where early filing functions as a genuine hedge rather than a concession. The Social Security benefit becomes a pressure release valve on portfolio drawdown at precisely the moment when drawdown is most damaging. Chapter 8, Variables 6 and 7. Taxes and real need. Provisional income rules allow up to 85% of your Social Security benefit to be taxed if your total income exceeds certain thresholds. But in a low-income period, before required minimum distributions begin at age 73, your Social Security income may be taxed very lightly or not at all. Filing early in that window is a tax efficiency move. The RMD flood arrives later. The benefit you collected before it was taxed at a fraction of what it will cost you afterward. And the 7th variable requires no optimization framework at all. If you need the income, use it. Social Security was designed as a foundational income floor. Using it when you need it is not a planning failure. It is the entire purpose of the system. Chapter 9. What the standard advice gets wrong. The default instruction to delay until 70 is not wrong. For someone in excellent health, with robust savings, no pension, and a spouse who also carries a high benefit, waiting produces dramatically better lifetime outcomes. The $246,000 COLA-adjusted gap is real, and it matters. But the advice becomes wrong the moment it is delivered as a universal rule rather than a conditional one. The financial planning industry has a structural incentive to recommend delay. Advisors managing your assets earn fees based on portfolio size. If you draw Social Security early, you spend less of your portfolio. Their fee base stays larger longer. That is not corruption. It is an incentive, and you should know it is there. 3 things to do before you decide. Run the break-even analysis. Then change your life expectancy assumption by plus and minus 3 years. If the optimal strategy flips with that small a change, the margin for error is thin, and you need more information before committing. Model your household benefits together, not separately. Spousal benefits and survivor benefits. do not appear in individual filing calculators. They require a combined household projection. And if you are currently in a low-income year, a market downturn, or facing a family health situation, revisit your timeline. The optimal filing decision made in calm conditions may not be optimal under the conditions you are actually in now. The Social Security Administration removed the break-even calculator because people were treating a starting point as a final answer. 7 variables determine the correct answer for your situation. You now have all 7,